LaSalle and Duquesne. A lot of snow overnight, so a late arriving crowd. Got about 5 inches of snow in the Pittsburgh area, but we're ready to play. LaSalle comes to work. These can't fire. Will be Duquesne basketball. We've kind of seen Isaiah Dees with B.J. Johnson out take a much more role in the scoring offense.
Well, everybody's going to have to step up, Ryan. And Isaiah Dees had a tremendous week following a funeral in his family, but he's come back and helped his team. John Giannini wants his players to step up. There's no question they're going to have to find ways to score and rebound in B.J. Johnson's absence.
Beautiful shot. Pass inside to Chaz Brown. Can't connect. Now LaSalle looks to move.
That's been sort of an Achilles heel there for Chaz Brown. He's got a score on that on the other end. He's missed a lot of easy putbacks.
Now you take a look at the scoring. Both teams just at about 71 per game. Interesting, Duquesne is 11-1 on the season when holding the opponent under 70. So that's been the magic number for the Dukes.
And Keith Dambrot's made no secret of that number. He recites that to him every day in practice.
There's that in-your-face man-to-man defense. 5 on the shot clock. Powell looks to create and blocked out of the sky. That's the A-10's leading shot blocker. No surprise, Tyus Verhoeven with the eraser.
Well, about 19 minutes a game, he's averaging all those blocks, leading the A-10 incredibly, one of the top 10 in the country.
3 on the shot clock. Powell has to create. This is like the Jaguars-Steelers tomorrow. Defensive start, 0-0.
Hold on to your hat and grind it out. Typical in Pittsburgh.
Interesting. It's Brown with the 2 first shots for the Dukes. Average is only 4 a game. Dees creating beautiful basketball.
Well, he gets to the rim, and Duquesne's going to have to do a good job of shutting him off the dribble. But Duquesne's biggest challenge is going to be to play ball screen defense. This team has worked very hard on defending the ball screen. That was a split last time down the floor.
Castro creating, draws the foul. Take a look.
Well, let's watch it here.
Isaiah Dees.
Let's watch it here. He gets to the rim all the way, and that's such an advantage. He's got great range, great body control, but today for screens, you've got to get through screens and split them. Sometimes you can't go into the hedge man. You've got to get in there between the screen and get to the basket.
Duquesne still unable to connect 2 minutes into the game. Dees very fluent athlete. Washington jump hook, 4-zip explores.
Well, there's going to have to be some type of help or double team down there because that's a pretty good size advantage. And Keith Dambrot has the double team in his repertoire, but his players have to get there right away or on the dribble.
Duquesne 0 for 3 from the field, bringing the cold outside in. And maybe the shot coach, this is a real surprise, but Brown, 3 of the shots.
Well, exactly. When you see both teams going inside early, Ryan, and, you know, I like the philosophy of both coaches trying to get themselves in inside-out action and try to get the other team in foul trouble, but I always like teams starting out by trying to go right at the basket rather than just come out firing.
Now, this is an adventure here. Chaz Brown, 38% free throw shooter.
Well, I used to tell my players, if you want your scoring average to go, take the free throws, and you'd be surprised how many times that worked. They just didn't want to miss shots, but it's tough when you can when your big guy is not converting from the foul line.
Well, Washington has picked up his 2nd foul now. Tony Washington, the senior center. And look at that, Chaz Brown, 38% from the charity stripe, rolls both in. Duquesne now to pressure.
We put the reverse jinx on him. You'll see Duquesne extending their pressure, just trying to get LaSalle uncomfortable. That's why they're such a good defensive team. They get you out of your comfort range.
Switch the screen out front. Dees turns it over. Now Duquesne looks to run. Castro Kennedy will head to the free throw line.
Well, here you see the turnover, Ryan, and you can see the quick hedge. Good job by Chaz Brown not fouling. He's been in foul trouble almost every game this season. So Keith Danbrough and his staff have him really working on position and not reaching in, but just playing position defense.
LaSalle already quick fouls. That's their third team. Washington on the bench with 2. And what a story Rene Castro-Kennedy has been for Duquesne. Grad student from Boston. Averaging 16 a game in the Atlantic 10. Leads the team in assists. Makes a pair at the line. We're tied in 4.
Well, he's almost 2-to-1 on assist to turnover. That's a very good number in anybody's game.
Really bodying the coach Danbrough's defensive-minded, hard-nosed style. Beautiful pass. Comes up short.
He gave up a layup to try to create a 3, and I think he was pretty open at the basket. Didn't realize how open he was.
Saul Perry. He has made 13 threes on the year, but that's going to be a turnover.
Well, let's look at this play again, Ryan. And here's a beautiful back door going all the way to the rim. And really, I think the defender was going to let him go. But, you know, being unselfish, he got his team a wide open 3. But maybe his teammate was a little surprised the ball came to him.
These draws the personal out front. Coach Danbrough can't believe this is what he has brought. One of your former assistants. This is what he's brought to Duquesne.
Well, I was smart enough, Ryan, to let him coach my defense when I coached, and we had a lot of success. Won a MAC championship back at Eastern Michigan, but he demands defense. That's a staple. Nothing pretty about it. But you sit in your stance and you play, or you don't. You play and defend, or you don't play at all.
There's a tough defensive-minded game here early on. 4-4, about 4 minutes in. Robinson just manhandling inside for the bucket, but he can't convert. Miles Brookins just way too light to handle the big man, but he blows the chippy. Now Brookins to the bucket. Beautiful move inside. 6'4" LaSalle.
That's a great give and go. Great finish. Presence of mind to maybe absorb a little contact and finish, but a nice give and go.
Doesn't get big minutes. Does Miles Brookins. But with the foul trouble, he'll have to play early. Duquesne continues to just be unable to find anything from the field. Powell the other way. And he'll head to the free throw line. Duquesne yet to make a field goal. Almost 5 session here on the bluff for Duquesne. The goggles are out, and everyone excited in the Pittsburgh area about what the Dukes have done early on. Rhode Island up 13 now on St. Bonaventure late in that game. So Rhodey looks to go to 5-0, but Duquesne off to that great 3-1 start. And a good one here with LaSalle today. Interesting, you look at the Dukes. Coach, 1 turnover, 3 fouls, 0 field goals.
Well, that's credit to LaSalle. They're a very underrated defensive team. Had them early in the year, Ryan. They held VCU to 0 points while they put up 15. They just coasted to a lead, couldn't hold on. It's kind of been the story, but they can play defense. Don't get fooled by this team. They really can get in there and play. They're pretty long, and they play do a good job on the defensive end.
Pookie Powell at the line for LaSalle, as we talked about off the open, with the A-10's leading scorer B.J. Johnson out of the lineup. It is Pookie Powell that has had to take the scoring role. The Explorers a great free throw shooting team this year, in the top 15 in the nation with their team average. Now let's see if Duquesne can break the ice. 5 minutes in, no baskets. Try to pound it inside. That's been the plan. Beautiful pass inside.
Well, that's a good look on the assist by Kellen Taylor, football player, Ryan. It really shows you his versatility. A football guy making that kind of assist. That's impressive.
So Duquesne's first basket comes on the jam. And the lead is 1 for LaSalle. For 3. Can't hit Brookins. That's going to be over the back of foul. Great position in there by the big man, Jordan Robinson.
Let's look at the skip pass, blow by drive, and presence of mind to dish it off, avoid contact. Great individual play by Kellen Taylor, and the finish.
Now, Taylor, the sophomore forward, 6'5", 220, was Eric James, the grad student that created the play. Hasn't been getting a ton of playing time in his 5th year, but a beautiful pass there.
I'm a little partial to football players, Ryan. I had Tony Gonzalez, so
he worked out all right.
Yeah, he sure did. He put 21 on Villanova, and I'll never forget that right here as we went to the Sweet 16. But football players, you know, if you ask them, their passion sometimes basketball.
Inside to Robinson. Again, he's got the major weight advantage on Brookins, and it shows there. That's Duquesne's first lead of the ball game. 8-7 Dukes. Under 14 to play first half.
You see the defensive pressure by Duquesne making it very difficult for LaSalle to get into their offense.
There's Powell outside, inside, trying to create. There's that beautiful mid-range game you talked about.
You know, and I'm not sure how he makes that shot. He's going left, puts the ball back up against the grain with his right, and kicks it off the glass and in. That's just great body balance. That's the one guy that, you know, you think you've got defended, but you got to defend him all the way to the rack.
Coach Duquesne's mindset has been to pound the ball inside. Surprised?
Not at all. That's what they want to do, and if they can continue to do that, they're going to get those mid-range shots that they did just then.
Yeah, Rene Castro-Kennedy with the floater. That's 3 consecutive makes for Duquesne after the slow start. So both teams started to heat up in the first half. No foul there. Pookie on the baseline. Nice pass inside, but can't finish. It will stay LaSalle basketball.
Ryan, we've got another look at the ability for Pookie Powell to get to the basket and just float one off. You got to practice that shot. And then you see on the other end, you see Rene, obviously Castro, Kennedy just going straight up. Again, balance in the lane. Again, a lost art. You've got to go up in the lane and be willing to take that shot. The game is not just three-point shots and dunks today.
And Duquesne turning around offensively, 3 for 3 in the last minute 46. When you look at these two teams, Duquesne clear advantage in weight, size, bulk.
Well, they do. But, you know, I look at both these teams, and what do I see? Teams that are very well coached. I'm very impressed with the job that both coaches do. And they're tough individually. They have guys that aren't afraid to mix it up. They're tough guys. They can take contact. And that's important. So you have to be tough, gritty if you're going to be successful. And, you know, John Giannini's team has lost some games as of late, but they had some big leads. You don't go into UMass and get up VCU out by double digits, almost 20 points if you're not a tough team.
Yeah, indeed. Last time out for LaSalle, a 22-point second-half lead at UMass, only to lose in overtime, despite 30 from Powell. He has the ball now. Beautiful crossover. Pookie Powell.
Well, that's the freshman who's very talented, as we know. Eric Williams, a tough assignment. Keith Dambrot is giving him, putting him on Pookie Powell, and he's just able to break an ankle there and go up for the shot. But Pookie Powell, a tough one-on-one matchup.
Mike Lewis yet to get on track for Duquesne. Smith can't hit. And it will stay Duquesne basketball.
Let's watch this play again, Ryan. This is called the ankle breaker. You give him a little shake inside out, and the slip and the shot. That's the shot he missed, incidentally, that would have won the game for him, except he had it from the corner. But he can create his own shot. Separation, a real strength of his.
Lewis averaging almost 16 a game, yet to get on the board. Torrin Smith trying to create. We got a foul inside. Now the story right on. The difference has been Pookie Powell. 5 straight for the Explorers, leading scorer with Johnson out. 12-10 early on.
affecting your team. And he's shooting almost 85 from the line. But, you know, he's been a leader, too. He knows he's got to take his team. He'll be back in the action. He just has to lead his team and help his team as a senior.
Yeah, they're hoping this would be the last game he missed with him in the lineup. This is a LaSalle team that led Villanova at the half. Lost the game by single digits, so LaSalle knows they can play with anyone. Oh, inside! Chaz Brown!
Well, he must have been hearing us talk about B.J. Johnson. He said, hey, I'm not to be upstage either. Chaz Brown, a very emotional player, but boy, he did a great job, what we call rooting out in the post, just getting his man into the paint with his lower body. Great job of positioning and finishing with authority.
Isaiah Dees fumbles it. Crazy circus shot.
Well, again, Ryan,
he can't believe his eyes on the bench.
Well, you want to take it straight up and get the foul. Don't avoid contact.
Driving the backseat is James, and once again, Chaz Brown, a man on a mission, 6'8", 235 out of Baltimore. Averages only 4 points a game, but clearly Coach Danbrock decided to come in and saw an advantage inside with Brown.
Well, absolutely. I mean, look at what he does. He plays both ends. He gets in foul trouble. That's his Achilles. But look at him root himself inside. Great position. Gets his feet wider than his opponents and finishes with authority at the rim. Watch him on the offside. Left hand offside tip-in. Very opportunistic player.
Already over his season average. And just a gigantic weight advantage inside for Brown. Probably 40, 50 pounds on Burroughs. Pookie Powell trying to create. Dukes by a deuce with the basketball.
Inside, little to big screen over the top, and they found Chaz Brown at the rim. Great individual play and execution.
Chaz Brown having a career game here at the Palumbo. A player that averages 4 points for the season in the first 10 minutes of a ball game with 8 already.
Well, when your coach calls your number, you got to respond. Otherwise, he's not calling your number again, and they did. And he's worked hard. You know, he's been in foul trouble. That's hurt his performances this year. But when he stays out of foul trouble, he's a terrific player.
Beautiful pass inside of Burroughs for the jam.
Great play, Ryan, coming out of the timeout. There's Dr. John Giannini. He shows you what he's made out of. He doesn't mess around. He goes right to his bread and butter play, and they score immediately. That's what sign of great coaching.
The game's been close throughout. Both teams exchanging body blows. Duquesne's perimeter game has been very quiet. Their leading scorer, Mike Lewis, 16 a game, scoreless, and remains that way. To push the other way to Dees, who tries to throw it down. The ball eventually ends up in the basket. It will be a three-point attempt.
Watch this break, how Isaiah Dees gets out in the break. Look at him extend and get up over the outstretched arms and finishing with a three-point play opportunity. Great individual play by Isaiah Dees.
Watching practice with you yesterday, Coach, and you just see the way Dees walks, the way he shoots the ball. He's 6'6", 6'7", just looks like a basketball player.
Oh, geez, you'd love to have him on your team. He just does everything right. He's tough. He gets after it. And, you know, he's a guy that will give your team a lot of activity. You want guys that are active.
Another lead change is after the three-point play. It's our 6th lead change of the game early on. That's going to be offensive. Anytime you extend the arm, Coach, they're going to get you.
Oh, that's a good call. And I know that Duquesne doesn't like the call. Mike Lewis doesn't like the call. But when you do extend now, they're really giving the advantage on that play to the defender. The only thing you can't do really as an offensive player is extend the arm.
Powell's getting to the basket at will. Brookins misses inside, but corrals his own miss. Dees loses the handle. Powell the extra pass. Dees on the rebound, rejected again. Van Hooven, who else, leads the A-10 in blocks.
Well, when you're playing with Verhoeven, you've got to go out and get, there's going to be block shots. You've got to corral and go get that loose ball. That second chance opportunity really helped LaSalle and hurt the Dukes.
So Moultrie corrals the loose ball and connects. Castro, ill-advised shot. Van Hooven, the rebound, jump hook, no good. There's one of the best rebounders in the country. We'll get into Eric Williams, and Duquesne will reset.
As a freshman, no doubt.
And Eric. Mike Lewis just having all sorts of trouble in and out there.
Well, that's what he does. He has the ability, like his counterpart, Cookie Powell, getting to the rim. That's a shot he normally puts down.
And there's a big, big three as Moultrie connects for back-to-back baskets. And now, biggest lead of the game. It's a 10-0 run by LaSalle. The lead has grown to 6. Robinson inside, destroying Perkins with the physical advantage.
Well, that's something they want to do, obviously, go at the VJ Johnson-less Explorers.
Perkins now took the extra step.
Let's take a look here at Moultrie. He spots up, great challenge, low hands, got to come out high, 3-point, goes down.
The world comes together for the Winter Olympics, and for the first time ever, live coverage coast to coast begins February 8th, followed by the opening ceremony February 9th only on NBC. A little touch of winter today, 5 inches here. LaSalle able to get in before the storm hit. And Coach Giannini with the early lead here, playing without his best player and leading scorer. How they gotten it done?
Well, you know, this may sound crazy, Ryan, but I used to worry when the other team's best player was out, and then you had to go to your team and say, look, they're not playing with their best player, but you still have to bring it. And sometimes psychologically, your team lets down. It's just a human nature, and you got to fight that.
Duquesne continues to try to pound it inside. 4th turnover. Williams now, that's his 2nd rebound. Something to keep an eye on. The freshman averaging almost 10 a game. 4th in the country among freshman rebounders. Been a real find. Robinson has it poked away. Another turnover, the 5th for the Dukes. Mismatch here. Robinson on Pookie Powell. Interesting matchup there, defensive match.
Well, that was a good break for the Dukes because they had, I thought, a mismatch going for Pookie Powell out front.
Torrance Smith creating, and it's good, and one. It appeared Pookie Powell might be inside the restricted area, Coach.
Well, I thought so. He was, Ryan, and that's a good call by the officials. You could see that he had 1 foot in, and what did Terrence Smith do? He just got to the rim, and he's a tough player. He comes from New Jersey, played for Bob Hurley in high school. He knows how to attack the paint. I've been at their practices, and you learn how to attack the paint. There's no settling for jump shots in Bob Hurley's practices.
Old-fashioned three-pointer is good. Back to a 1-point game. About 6 minutes to go. 22-21. Got a good one in the burn. Moultrie continued trying to create. Doesn't play a lot. Getting minutes today with Johnson out of the lineup. Castro. Another Duquesne turnover. Their 6th now of the first half. Protecting the basketball a problem.
Well, it is. And, you know, when you make your first line of attack, Ryan, you've got to stop in the paint. You've got to come to a jump stop, so you have triple threat. You can shoot it, pass it. You've got to be able to do some things there. You can't lose control going to the rim.
D's.
There's a good-looking rebound. That's why Kellen Taylor plays for this ball club. He gets out in the glass, and here's a team that's leading the conference in rebounding margin, if you can believe it.
Great
Duquesne Dukes.
Williams, deep 3, connect. The freshman.
Well, I was waiting to see how long we'd be into our call, Ryan, to talk before we start talking about this freshman. He's just been unbelievable his freshman year, not only scoring but rebounding at a frenetic pace.
His
one of the top
33rd three-pointer of the year. Powell looks to respond. We've had another lead change. Duquesne by 2 with the ball, 5 to go. 7th time we've changed leads here. Back and forth we go. Williams again. He'll head to the line for three.
Let's watch Eric Williams again, Ryan. What he does, he comes out, he pulls back here, he gets behind the arc, and he sets it. And when he's got his feet set, he's an awfully good shooter. What do? I love what coaches do. They go right back and they run a play for the guy with a hot hand. A lot of coaches don't do that. They did it for Williams. He's there now with a chance to shoot 3 free throws on a foul after getting fouled.
You know, let's put this in perspective on January 13th. Eric Williams, already a 3-time Rookie of the Week in the A-10. The record for Duquesne is T.J. McConnell. He 5 times was named the Rookie of the Week. Williams has a chance to shatter that record. As a rebounder, as a scorer, what a find he has been.
Absolutely. He's back in Michigan. I know where he's from, having coached there for almost 20 years. And he's a fine player. But you just mentioned T.J. McConnell. That is pretty good company. And look what he's done, Ryan, is in the A-10. 9-5 a game, almost 10 rebounds a game as a freshman. That's incredible. One of the tops in the country.
Can't convert the third, but it's good for a 4-point lead. 6 Dukes have scored, but not their leading scorer. Mike Lewis, he's got a 0. That's a big 3 ball.
Well, you've got to get a hand up. Yeah, and Coach Danrod not happy about his big fella. Just really lazy with his hands. And, you know, that's a learning experience. But you've got to respect guys from the 3-point line. High hands, early challenge.
Verhoeven, not known as a scorer, nearly turns it over. Smith now with 5 on the clock creates himself and flexes for the cameras.
That's called weight room, Ryan. And I recognize that from my days, my players. They want to let you know that, hey, I'm too tough. You can't stop me to the rack. And what a great finish by Terrence Smith.
Jameer Moultrie is having been a big find today for the Explorers. A touch foul out front. Oh, wow, back and forth game. 7 lead changes already. Terrence Smith to the rack. We got a good one at the Palumbo Center back after this. The NHL Game of the Week returns Sunday with an original 6 showdown as Dylan Larkin and the Red Wings face off against Patrick Kane and the Blackhawks. That's tomorrow at 12:30 only on NBC. 7 lead changes already here at the Palumbo Center. It has been a game of runs. As you think about it, Duquesne had a 6-0 run. Then they were outscored by a 10-0 LaSalle run. That was followed by another 9-0 Duquesne run. Game of runs.
Well, it is, and obviously both coaches trying to stick to their keys. For Duquesne, they really want to do a good job on ball screen defense and transition defense, but they've got to hit the boards and go inside early. And they've also, Ryan, kept their bigs out of foul trouble. That's huge. John Giannini, on the other hand, he's got to get his guys to get to the foul line. Why? Because they're one of the tops in the country, and they've got to continue to rebound. So that's going to be huge.
Powell makes both. He'll take a break as Miles Brookins comes back in. And don't expect Powell to sit long. Think about Duquesne has done all this without their leading scorer, Mike Lewis, scoring a point, 16 a game.
And don't be fooled by that, Ryan. He'll pick up his scoring, but he'll do some other things. He's going to have to defend because Pookie Powell's a tough matchup, and somebody's going to have to get out there and do the job on him.
Eric James trying to create 5 on the shot clock. James for 3. Book. James out to, Mike Lewis, who finally finds his way into the scoring column. Right, Lewis connecting on another 3.
It must have hurt you. He was quiet.
That's his 52nd 3 of the year for Mike Lewis, the sophomore guard. Keep an eye on him. Moultrie answers with his second 3 of the game. He's got 8 for the Explorers. Back and forth we go.
Well, has he done a great job for LaSalle stepping up. Jamar Moultrie's really given his team a lift.
He has. A little weave outside with Williams. And Taylor, one too many steps. Here's what's coming up at halftime on the U.S. Bank NBC Sports Report. Carolyn Mano in studio. Got a Big Ten showdown in East Lansing. And Lindsey Vonn is Olympic bound. It's all coming up 2 minutes and 30 seconds from now. We got a lot to decide in those 2:30. It's the Dukes by 1. Dees trying to take the much larger Robinson, poked away by Castro, and they're going to get Brookins for the foul.
Ryan, I've been very, very impressed with the big fella's defense on Duquesne. You know, we said that now that he's been mismatched out top, but he's held his own and he's gotten his hands on a couple balls. So anytime you can do that, you know, for a big guy, you can get out there and play the kind of defense that's been played. That's fantastic. I'm really impressed.
You know, Kellen Taylor's asked to do a lot of things for this team. Score is not one of them. Makes the free throw.
What I was referring to,
that athletic body you love.
No question. And you know, you put him alongside of Jordan Robinson, who we were talking about on the other end playing defense. That's a pretty awe-inspiring looking group. They're not taking a lot of stuff out there. They're a hard team physically to go up against.
And the Dukes 9 of 10 from the charity stripe. We expected both teams to shoot well, 2 of the best in the A-10, and that has transpired today.
Always worried about these last 2 minutes of the half, Ryan. As a coach, I always like to get an advantage. Just take a little momentum. You don't want to go into half on a downswing. You want to try to get into halftime with your team got a little bit of an upswing.
No Pookie Powell to lead the attack for Coach Giannini's. He's on the bench, and it's a 5th Explorer turnover.
Well, that was close. I know that the thought was a good one, but you want to, again, not turn the ball over down the stretch. You've got to really not shoot yourself in the foot, because Duquesne's going to come back and capitalize if you give them opportunities.
An opening here for Duquesne, up 3 with the basketball. Smith fade away. Who else? Williams with the rebound, but loses it on the way up. So athletic. Boy, he's been fun to watch, Isaiah Dees, the sophomore from Brooklyn.
You've got to get ahead of him, because offensively, he's so quick. They're getting down the floor. You've got to get down there and get set up in your transition defense.
He's got 10 of LaSalle's 32. Lewis, high pass. Williams. On the shot clock for Castro. Smith. And he will head to the line for 3. Dees can't believe it. Now first you take a look at Dees. Coast to coast.
Here he goes in transition. Again, you've got to get ahead. He's got a head of steam on you. You've got to get ahead of the defender. And there should be more than one guy getting back. Terrence Smith goes for the wraparound, doesn't get it, but you've got to get down and give him help.
Coach, how much hair did you lose on players fouling a three-point shooter 25 feet from the basket?
Well, I didn't lose any hair, but I might have gotten a few grays, Ryan. But no, plenty. It's just, you know, you don't want to do that. I know that he'll say, hey, ref, I didn't touch him. My hands are straight up. But you've got to really make sure. It's really a mortal sin. And you can see it again on the outside. You know, offensive players are pretty smart, but you've got to just keep your body and your hands away. Not a lot of contact there.
He was 5 feet behind the line.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you don't give the referees. Again, referees don't call sometimes what they, hear or what they see. They call what they see, and you got to make sure that what you see is not what the referees are going to call. You got to make sure you take the whistle out of their hands.
Now Smith only makes 1, so the lead remains 2. And there's a foul outside on Terrence Smith.
Well, here's another call that went earlier against Keith Damrod's team. So he wanted the same call going back in reverse. That's the offhand, and it was called to his detriment earlier in the half, and now he sees it going the other way. So I think the coaches just want consistency from the officials, Ryan. I didn't have a problem as long as the game was being called consistently. Saul
Perry at the line, 85%. This free throw to tie the game with 46 seconds left in the first half. 6 of 7 from the charity stripe. LaSalle, we're tied. We're back where we started. About a 15-second discrepancy between the shot and the game.
neither team, Ryan,
all of a sudden, coach.
But the whistles are starting to blow, so that's going to be effective, especially for Duquesne, because they have a little thicker bench, a little wider bench than LaSalle. LaSalle's thin along the bench, so this is going to be huge.
How do you explain all the ticky-tacks in the last 2 minutes of the half?
Well, we had a pretty physical game early. Officials never want a game to get out of hand, but I thought the game was being called fairly well, and the officials were letting the players play. And as a coach, you don't mind that as long as it's going both ways. Now you see a lot of fouls down the stretch, so if I'm a coach, I'm going to drive it. I'm going to try to get to the rim and get to the foul.
Terrence Smith, a 75% free throw shooter, has now made 2 of 5. The lead is 1.
Well, there's the age-old question. You go 2 for 1 here. I would do it, but not with 37 on the clock. There's really not enough time. They're going to milk it down if they can, and I wouldn't be surprised if John Giannini goes again if the rim tries to get to the foul line rather than 7.
Another lead change. Dees wants 3. In and out. Duquesne won the last shot with the ball and a 1-point lead.
Well, Dees did have a hot hand. I can't argue with that shot. That's a good look, and now they're going to try to get the very last shot of the half. Huge possession here for Duquesne to see if they can hold the lead and extend it.
And that will do it for the first half. Duquesne's final 3 minutes and 18 seconds. No baskets. Your score at the half. Duquesne 35, LaSalle 34. Now let's send it over to sensational freshman for Duquesne, averaging nearly 10 rebounds per game. 8 in the first half.
And keep your eyes on turnovers. That's going to be a huge stat. 8 for the Dukes in the first half. Uncharacteristic. They can't turn it over if they expect to win this game.
Castro Kennedy can't connect from 3.
Now, this is a team now, again, that's only taken 4 threes to Dukes this first half. That's pretty uncharacteristic, too. They don't shoot a ton of them, but they have, keep in mind, made 18 threes against Delaware State, a school record, so they can shoot the 3.
Perry thought about it. Instead, it's Powell. Beautiful inside of Washington. Up and good. We have another lead change as right out of the gate. LaSalle, the first basket, our 8th lead change now here in the ball game. Williams 1 on 3. Instead, it's Chaz Brown. He had a monster first half, and Brown will head to the free throw line.
Let's watch the communication gap here, Ryan. There's a screen, and you stay out to challenge, but you've got to stay at home to protect the big men rolling. Now at the other end, you've got a similar situation, a one-on-one inside, and just really a body foul more than an arm foul.
Oh, the first half numbers, one that really jumped off the page to me was that of Chaz Brown. It talked about the senior only averaging 4 points a game. He had 8 in the first half, but only played 7 minutes. 8 points in 7 minutes. Now right out of the gate, he's got 2 in the second half. Chaz Brown in double figures with 10.
Well, Duquesne decided to rest him and get him on the bench, which is really, it may be conservative to some, but when you get in foul trouble the way Chaz Brown has, you have to sit.
9th lead change. Dees shuffled the puppies. Chaz Brown, 6'8", 235. Physically, there's no one that can match him inside for LaSalle.
You can see how valuable he is for the Dukes. He's a guy that carves out space. He's a target. You can play around him. He's a very good passer as well.
Tough pass there from Van Hooven to Brown. But it will stay Duquesne basketball with 11 on the shot clock.
Well, again, they worked on that high-low, but you've got to put the ball over the top to your big fella. You've got to lead him away, pass away from the defense if you're playing, not through the defense's hands. You must pass away from the defense.
Castro Kennedy to Brown. And he has 12 points. It's incredible what Chaz Brown has done coming in and where he's at today.
Well, that play was set up, that last play. You can see the drive by Castro Kennedy, Rene Castro Kennedy, and gives the ball inside. I think John Giannini wanted to travel. And then on the other end, you can see what happens. There's a drive, And he's just all over the place. But, you know, he's foul prone, so he's got to hold on to his fouls.
Foul on the baseline. It's a tough matchup. Chaz Brown just physically so much stronger than Brookins.
That's a good job of playing straight up. That's what you have to do defensively, Ryan. You've got to play straight up. Don't show the referee your hand. Show him your lower body. And now, just as we talked about foul trouble, they have Chaz Brown on the clear out. He says, hey, show the referee your hands. Don't use your arms. And that's one of his, again, Achilles is just using his arms to clear off.
It's his third personal, coach.
Yeah, you're going to let him play a little bit here. I think it's too early to sit him out, but they're going to monitor him. They're going to see. They'll give him a couple minutes run to see how he looks.
Duquesne by 3. Stooks hasn't done much, but scores there. The point guard for LaSalle. Grad student out of Philly, Lamar Stooks. Castro gives up his dribble. Brookins and James turns it over.
Well, I think now you make a move and Keith Damrod is just, well, it's settled down. That's the 10th turnover. That's way too many. And I think Chaz Brown a little hungry. They say a little thirsty, we used to say to players. Good reason. It means he had a great game, but you got to settle down, let the game come to you.
And Chaz Brown, points per minute, is incredible. He just can't stay on the court. So LaSalle a chance again for our 10th lead change. And it's going to be a push over Rene Castro. He can't believe it.
A lot of close calls out here. You see the screen. And that was a late call, if there was any call at all. I'm not sure where that came from.
That was a horrific call, Coach. I'll say it.
Okay. I'm still thinking I'm a coach. I don't want to pick up a tee. Ryan, you just saved me from getting a technical.
Powell, pull up Jay. And Williams, his 9th rebound. Dees and Williams, two superior athletes, and I'll tell you, about 2-3 minutes left of the first half. The game completely changed from an officiating standpoint, and it's continued here in the second half.
Well, you can see that the rhythm of the game has changed, and I said that as we closed the first half. It really seems like both teams not playing in a rhythm. There really doesn't seem to be anybody being able to get a string of points or stops together. It's kind of, you know, stopping and starting at the foul line. Now that happens, Ryan, again, that favors LaSalle as they are one of the top free throw shooting teams in the country. But you want to get in the bonus. And if the Duquesne Dukes can get into the bonus, that'll help them down the stretch.
Williams 73% from the line. You are talking about one of the very best freshmen in the country in a year where we've had some unbelievable freshman play. 6 double-doubles already.
And how did he get out of Michigan? I was in Michigan. I know if I was coaching back there, and the Thomas twins who played for me were on the bench with Keith Damrod, played at Eastern Michigan, that young man would not have got out of the state of Michigan.
Heading towards another double-double. And another possibility for A-10 Rookie of the Week. Dukes by 3. Stooks baseline, up, under, and good.
Well, Amar Stooks has given his team a lift as well. He's given them 2 baskets here, opening up the second half. And those are much-needed baskets.
Didn't attempt a shot in 17 minutes in the first half. But he's definitely looked for the shot here in the second. 4 quickies.
Well, Ryan, better late than never. You can see Amar Stooks. He's not holding out anything here. He's getting the ball and driving. He's got a good first step, and he uses the backboard and the glass to shield his opponent. That's a real art by guys that can drive.
Mike Lewis, Duquesne's leading scorer, completely out of sync. Until now, on cue.
They keep calling it out, Ryan. It's going to happen. And certainly, he just knocks down a shot falls down for the special effects, and that's a huge three. See if he can get his game on track.
53rd three-point make of the year for Mike Lewis. Dees. Danger time here, Coach?
Well, LaSalle's got to be careful because Duquesne's able to put some runs on.
Smith to the basket. And we'll go LaSalle basketball. And Mike Lewis, preseason third team, all Atlantic 10. Here's why.
What does he mean to the program? Well, you know, this is important, Ryan. If you go back, and I've known Keith a long time, and certainly having coached with him, but it's been a staple of Keith Debrut's teams. Defensively, when you can hold teams to 62, and look at the stat right there. That's good for 50-plus years, so that's important. And the other thing is, you know, they've got an 8-game winning streak here at home. And how do you build a winning streak at home? You can simply outscore your opponents, or you can decide to play defense. It makes it even tougher to play. So that's how he's gotten it done with this team, is playing defense.
A little full court pressure here. LaSalle with B.J. Johnson out. Only goes 7 deep. Duquesne the much deeper of the two teams. Maybe coach trying to wear LaSalle down just a bit. Powell. Gorgeous.
Yeah, he's so good at what he does. If you give him 1 inch, he's by you and he completes the play. You've got to almost put 2 guys at the point of attack, get it out of his hands. He's just too hard to guard in an individual one-on-one situation.
That's 10 for Pookie. The lead once again, Duquesne by 2. Williams, beautiful pump fake. Not sure about the shot. Dees looks to push the other way, but stolen by the big guy. 1-on-4, no numbers. Lewis doesn't care.
So I think Keith Debrut would have liked that as a reload. You get an offensive rebound, make your team pay. I don't think they had quite the shot he wanted. A little impatient. That's what happens. And really, John Judy's defense has made a big difference. His team's defending today.
Moultrie with Robinson on him. Mismatch. Brookins inside and 1.
Well, that's a tough individual play by Brookins. You can see what happens. Shot goes up. He's got inside position, and he goes up and not only secures the rebounds, but Miles Brookins goes down. He's from Mater Dei High School, a high school I'm very familiar with, having coached back in California. Played for Gary McKnight, and his teams were annually rated number of the top teams in the country.
Only goes 200 pounds. He's been manhandled inside from the likes of Chaz Brown and Jordan Robinson. But on that play, Brookins.
Well, he's having to grow up here against this very physical Duquesne team. And Miles Brookins is giving his team a lift now. He struggled a little bit in the first half, but he's coming back in the second.
He's got 7 points, only averages 3.5 a game. And another lead change. LaSalle by 1. Continue to feed Brown inside. He was too hard off the glass. Nearly picked up his 4th. Moultrie. Dukes look to run. Eric James, coast to coast, lays it up and in. Beautiful.
Well, that was really good play from Eric James. He really showed you his ability to go up there and just slide to the basket. Again, his strength, taking the ball to the basket, great outlet pass, great defense by the Dukes. They come back and they score in transition.
Another lead change, coach. And miscommunication between Pookie and Brookins.
Well, you see James is going to get out in transition, but it's really the outlet pass. That's the outlet pass by Kellen Taylor, and he gets all the way to the rim. It's a 2-on-1, 2-on-2 with Traylor, and he gets the rim, gets an angle. Very important when you're coming down the floor. Stay wider than the lane line. That's a measuring stick. Used to tell our players, don't take it down the middle. Stay wider than the lane line. Make your defender have to turn to guard you or a trailing defender, or his trailing teammate.
Castro Kennedy surveys. 10 on the shot clock. Still Kennedy. Taylor drives and floats it in.
That was a play that was made possible by Chaz Brown, who had his man sealed off inside. Taylor's man had to stay at home, and he was able to get a driving angle.
Stoops can't connect, fights for the loose ball. Dees for 3. No, and there he is again. Unbelievable. Lamar Stooks, 0 points in the first half. He's got 6 here in the second. Stooks single-handedly keeping LaSalle in the game.
They're making some great hustle plays. That's how you have to play against Duquesne. They scrap. If you can match their scrappiness, it's important. Now they have Chaz Brown on a screen, rescreen, illegal screen. Now he picks up a foul.
Unreal. Chaz Brown has 4. As you see Taylor with the jump hook.
He's able to get to the basket because they had to stay at home on Brown. But here's the missed shot. Nobody blocks out. And that's just some backbreaker. If you're Duquesne, you play good defense, only to have to come down and give up the putback.
Well, the story of Chaz Brown will end for a considerable period of time as he just picked up his 4th foul on his way to a career game. It will stop for now. 4, he's on the bench for the foreseeable future. LaSalle with the basketball down 1.
Now Duquesne's guards are going to have to pick it up.
Stooks, what has gotten into him? All of a sudden, very offensive-minded. We've got a jump ball. It will stay LaSalle basketball. Oh, back and forth we go. Unreal action here at the Palumbo Center. It's Duquesne by 1. Back after this. Visit the George Mason Patriots. That's coming up next right here on NBCSN. But a lot still to be decided here at the Palumbo Center. 11:46 to play here in the first half. Duquesne 48-47, 1-point game. No team has been able to really build on that lead. A couple times we saw it get to 6, but it wasn't for long. Game of runs. D's out of the break. Beautiful shot. Great play call from Coach Giannini.
Yeah, again, both coaches just really nailing it after timeouts, Ryan. Really, again, a sign of coaching. You execute coming out of a timeout, and execute they did. They knocked that shot down wide open.
Rene Castro, quick 3. D's gets the rebound. It's LaSalle by 1. Stooks draws the foul. Out of the timeout. Would they run, Coach?
Well, they run a double curl off of screens. It's the first man is kind of a decoy. Second guy comes off. You hedge once. You've got to hedge twice. That means you get out there and you put your hands out and you help your defender, your teammate coming off as a second defender.
12 scoring changes in the game. D's again. He's got the hot hand.
That's much better defensively. Good job on Pookie Powell. They've been using Kellen Taylor and Terrence Smith to both guard Pookie Powell. Hard matchup.
They don't even guard Taylor.
But he's a free screener, Ryan, so if you don't guard him, he can screen and he can hurt you.
Aaron Smith to Taylor. Robinson was 4 on the shot clock on that.
That's a good look. Unselfish play by Taylor, but Taylor's again, a guy that finds his teammates.
13 times we've changed the lead. D so fluid. And they look like the foot just slid a bit, Coach.
Well, John Giannini arguing that he got a little help. He said, look, he got a little help from his friends here on the other team, but I don't think he's going to get it. But he'll hear his case. I always argued with officials not to get that call. I wanted the next one. That call's over, but you want to get the next call, so you make your case and you move on.
8th turnover by LaSalle. Said that Castro stepped out of bounds. Everyone kind of has a what look on their face. But it will be another turnover for Duquesne.
What rhythm do we have here? It's we're trying to get in the rhythm. It's tough. And I think both teams are playing hard. Ryan, so when you play hard, sometimes, game's going to get out of rhythm, but there seems to be a lot of calls. And, you just want the calls to be made right consistently. And if that happens, hey, no complaints.
Under 10 to go. Duquesne by 1, but the Explorers with the basketball. Both coaches on their feet. It's that kind of game here. Washington hasn't played much with foul trouble. Here he is inside, blocked by Robinson. And Peary inside somehow gets the loose ball, and he'll head.
Well, you can see the great defense initially played here. Robinson does a great job holding his own and just doesn't grab the rebound, goes up and tips it. On the defensive end, you go up with two hands. On the offensive end, you could go with one, but you always want to go up and grab that ball defensively with two.
Peary, 85% on the year, misses the first. They'll have one more left to try to tie the game. It in. We're tied at 50.
Well, as Al McGuire used to say, this is a white knuckle, although he wouldn't say it with that accent.
Robinson unguarded. Smith takes the three. In and out. LaSalle, will they push? The answer is no. Is it Pookie Powell time? Blocked out of the sky from Van Hooven. Deesnow's got a lane. Oh! Tony Washington with two hands. Emphatic flush.
Great individual play. Watch the effort here. As the shot, as the pass comes, he stays with it, draws the foul, and knocks down his shot. That's strength. That's confidence. That's toughness.
14th lead change sends Washington to the line.
Well, Ryan, that's why coaches just hate when they give up penetration, because what ends up happening is your bigs have to step up. And when bigs have to step up, when you help up, you allow people to get open at the rim. Never liked our bigs stepping up because you allow people to get driven on and dished underneath. So you really have to do a better job of forcing to one side, not allowing direct line penetration from the top.
Eric Williams, the freshman, with his 10th rebound of the game, on his way to a 7th double-double. Smith trying to create, gets to the lane, gets pumped from behind. He'll head to the line, trying to tie it up.
That's a good individual play.
Well, Terrence Smith has shown an ability to get to the basket.
Well, he does. Again, here's a player played for Bob Hurley, and he just splits people, comes to the rim. You're going to have to get on. He's an unselfish player as well, so if you help against him, he'll find his teammates. Been a little under the weather. I was with him yesterday at practice, and he really was put over him and, just trying to get his breath. But he was under the weather, and I said, how you doing? He said, I'll be there tomorrow. Don't worry about that. And he is. He's been there playing.
Has struggled at the free throw line today. It's Robinson from the baseline. Are you serious?
He better make that. The coach keep that run. Gave me those looks like, big fella, you better make that shot.
6'8", 225 from Toronto, stepping outside.
Absolutely. Great action here, Ryan. We're taking this one down. Watch the big fella feeling it.
Coaching is behind off for Duquesne in his first year. He does have some history with the Dukes. This, though, is first campaign.
Well, his dad was quite a basketball player, Ryan. You can see what he's done. He played for a team that was ranked 4 in the country, 9 and 5. His 1954 team went all the way down, and they were 26-3, ranked number 1 in the country. So a lot of history here at Duquesne. His dad, Sid Dambrot, a tough guy. But, Keith Dambrot led the country in an offensive category, but it wasn't in basketball, right? It was in baseball. What was the category? Being hit by the most pitches.
There you go.
He said, I might have been tough or not the smartest guy in the world.
Ben Braun, everybody. Pookie inside. Able to Smith slip down.
Well, unfortunate play by Terrence Smith, but he just simply slipped. But that was a great play again, coming out of the timeout. Think about this, Ryan. Look at the job John Giannini's done without his best player. What he's done to come in this game and be competitive. Look at this. It's just been phenomenal what he's been able to accomplish.
Robinson feeling it. Makes the long baseline jumper, comes back with the jump hook. All of a sudden, Jordan Robinson becoming an offensive threat.
Speaking of phenomenal, that young man has just given his team a lift in Chaz Brown's absence. He's on the bench before.
Mike Lewis, just the 2 threes. Duquesne's leading scorer has not even shot the ball much. This is Pookie's trap behind the back. Washington mismatch inside. And another gigantic rebound is 11 for Williams.
And that's no surprise there. Averaging 10 a game almost as a freshman. Incredible what that young man does.
He could get 15 tonight.
Absolutely.
Let's see if they continue to get it inside to Robinson. Castro, no call. James for three. And it's Washington. So now nearly stolen by James. Furious tempo all of a sudden here at Palumbo. Washington inside. He rolls it in.
Well, they just can't seem to, Duquesne, get any type of rhythm and get ahead. LaSalle has answered every score, every big play.
And the lead is now changed 18 times.
Don't go anywhere.
Let's see if Mike Lewis can somehow get on track. Are you serious? The 6'8", 225-pound center just launched an ill-advised three.
I like his ability about 15 and in, but three's a little bit out of his range.
So now LaSalle, can they build on their lead? D's leading scorer on the day. 5 on the shot clock. Does Washington know? Pushing his way in. And now it's Duquesne.
I like the no call by the officials. I thought they did a good job letting him play.
Let's see if Mike Lewis. Instead, it's Williams from way outside with about 6 off the shot clock. Last 2 possessions, wild threes from Duquesne.
Well, it's not characteristic, again, of how Keith Efrod's team started this game, which was going inside every possession.
Powell. In and out. Washington gets the rebound, and he'll head to the line. 56-55. 18 lead changes back after this.
Junior guard Javon Best of the Billikens leads his team in scoring, getting set to take on George Mason. We will get you that one as soon as LaSalle and Duquesne are done. Back to Ryan Burr and Ben Braun.
Welcome back. The Atlantic 10 just continues to beat up on one another, except at the top. The win over St. Bonaventure today. Rhode Island rolls to 5-0.
Yes, they're 5-0, and Danny Hurley doing a great job. I'm no stranger to Danny Hurley when he was coaching at St. Benedict's and had a heck of a team. He sent me his best player, Tamir Jackson. He was so glad to get to me after going through 5-hour-a-day practices. He thought I was a cakewalk to play for me. But you can see how successful Danny Hurley's team's been. They've been just on top of things from the start of the season on.
So Tony Washington to the free throw line. 60% missed his last. Big miss at the front end of the 1-and-1. It's like a turnover.
Well, I always hate that separation. Now the rules change. You have to take that whole time out. Freezes your own player.
And Mike Lewis continues to be a bit of an enigma. Tough shot. Out of timeout. You're the man, Lewis.
Ryan, you're the magic charm. Every time you call him out, he comes back and hits a shot. But that's a much-needed basket by Mike Lewis. He's been their bread-and-butter guy, and he's just struggling all day-to-day against a very good LaSalle defense.
D's been stuck on 12. Air ball. Peary with the rebound. Loose again. 10 on the shot clock. Washington. Double team. 3 on the shot clock. Stooks can't hit Duquesne basketball.
That's a big possession. I thought Duquesne did a good job double teaming on the block. That's a compliment to Washington because he's been alone down there. They double team, try to keep Chaz Brown out of foul trouble. It worked, but they gave up an open shot, but it didn't go down. Good break for the Dukes.
Dan Brunt calls the play. High arcing pass to James. He has it somehow stolen inside. Under 4 to play. Peary. Brick off the glass. Another loose ball. Dees. Peary. He's been a loose ball machine, coach.
Unbelievable hustle. just great hustle on the floor. That's what you want to do. This game, I said earlier, when we started the half, Ryan's going to come down to maybe a possession. Every possession counts. You've got to be on Lewis to do that, maybe even Darren Smith. Get to the rim on a drive and try to find your guys on drives and putbacks, or just put up a short and a soft shot so your guys can keep the ball alive. They obviously aren't going to take, I think, an ill-advised three, which they had done earlier.
Lewis has been your go-to guy all year, only has the 8 points, 2 threes and a 2. Any problem with calling a play for him?
Nah, none whatsoever. You go back to the guys again that's taking you there. They don't get amnesia overnight. They're still tough, and it didn't matter. My best players, Ryan, when the game was on the line, it didn't matter what they shot early in the game. They were going to perform down the stretch, and I know Keith Dambrot will give his players the same opportunity to win the games for them.
Lewis 3 of 8. Nearly loses it. Brown gets doubled and turns it over. Peary the other way to Powell. Hangs in the air and rolls it in. Our 20th lead change. LaSalle by 1.
That's a good double team by LaSalle coming out of the timeout. They must have anticipated the ball going into Brown. They double teamed and they forced the turnover. Now another timeout. Good timeout as well by Keith Dambrot. Hey, don't go anywhere.
The belt that fits every time, all the time. Traditional belts have a hole every inch, which make it hard to fit. Comfort Click Belt doesn't use holes. It uses a micro precision.
We're back, 15 on the shot clock. Smith trying to create. He'll head to the free throw line.
Well, that's been a formula for Duquesne, Ryan, is they've actually put the ball in Darren Smith's hands, knowing that he's able to get to the rim. They call the foul on the drive. So
interesting. I thought he was shooting.
Well, I did too, but they said it was on the drive. But that's important to get those fouls and get back in the bonus. It's huge. They've got one more foul before they go back.
So shot clock resets to 20. Terrence Smith. Get Tony Washington inside. These two are starting to talk a little bit.
Well, that's going to play to the advantage of LaSalle if they get Chaz Brown to pick up any type of unsportsmanlike a foul, because he's got 4. And I think Keith Dambrot and the staff are trying to get to Chaz Brown's attention. He's an emotional guy, and that's the good news. I love my players being emotional, but you've got to curb your enthusiasm.
That's right. LaSalle's 6th-team foul. Lewis way outside. Oh,
wow. Well, there's your guy, and I talked about it earlier, Ryan. Do you give your best player an opportunity to score even though he's been struggling? And he takes it upon himself to go up and do everything for them. He's carried this team throughout a lot of the season when B.J. Johnson was out. Let's see which way they go.
Lewis out of the game for Duquesne. Defensive switch for Dambrot. Here's Powell, draws the double team. Dees tries to create. Oh, what a shot. And they're going to give him 3. You have to check that on the monitor.
That's a huge shot. What a great...
Jamar Moultrie has now given LaSalle the lead.
Make plays, but now there's timeouts, there's stoppages of plays, there's lead changes. Now you've got to adjust, readjust, counteract. This has just been one heck of a slug 'em out, blue-collar game, white knuckler.
And Duquesne will go with Brown, Lewis, Castro, Kennedy, and Smith. For the Explorers, Dees, Powell, Stoops, Peary, and Washington.
Well, keep your eyes on Chaz Brown underneath and see what happens with Tony Washington. That's going to be interesting.
I will say, with Washington in the game, he has certainly done a better job on controlling Chaz Brown than we've seen. They're going to watch that 3. His foot was on the line, but the step back was clear. It is a 3-pointer. It is a 1-point LaSalle lead.
Well, Tony Washington, as you mentioned, Ryan, gives him a 6'10", 230-pound presence, a senior from Detroit. And it's a little tougher for Chaz Brown. You're going to have to go to the top.
And most of those points when Brown was scoring earlier were against Brookins.
That's right.
Where he had a 40-pound advantage. Not the case with Washington.
Well, a little easier going up against a freshman in his first year than a senior who's well seasoned.
Let's see what we do here. The Dukes down 1 with the ball. Castro, the grad student, to James. And it's going to stay Duquesne basketball. And actually, it looks like they may want to take another look at the monitor.
Well, they want to see if that ball at all rolled off the outstretched arms of Chaz Brown. It didn't look like he did. Put his hands back on the ball. I think they're going to retain possession here. Let's see.
Ooh, I don't know. And Peary was coming in.
Remember, again, Ryan, that the rule this year, and it's a good rule, if there's not evidence to overturn a call, there must be clear-cut evidence. And if it's not clear-cut, it stays the same. So we have to see if this is clear-cut evidence.
The rhythm of this game has come to a screeching halt. Seemingly stoppages both ways on every possession now.
Well, you're right, Ryan. This is something, as a coach, you complain about it. But guess what? If you're a coach, you want the call to be made right. And I don't care about stop the game as many times as you want, but get the call right so your players have the advantage. You'll see another angle on it here. It's hard to see from this angle with Chaz Brown. I think initially that LaSalle player poked the ball away, and it didn't seem like it appeared to go back. But, again, it's got to be clear-cut. Not clear-cut, it stays with the Dukes.
The angle above, you could definitely see that Brown tried to get a hand on it, but missed. And it looks like we're going to stay Duquesne.
And I think that's the right call. It's not overwhelming evidence, whatever you want to say it semantically. But it's got to be overwhelming, and I'm glad the officials are playing on and staying with the original call.
So Duquesne basketball on the baseline, 13 on the shot clock. It will be Smith to inbound. $10 on the clock.
Short clock here, right?
Not sure Smith realizes. To the basket and one. Wow. Terrence Smith.
Look at that grin. Look at that grin. He knows it. He got his guy in the air. And look at this ability to hang and just kiss it off the glass. That's a tough, you call that a New Jersey shot. That's just calling it off the glass, angling it in, and seeing if he can capitalize with a three-point. Boy, three-point shots, three-point plays by both teams. Amazing basketball.
75% from the stripe, but he has really struggled today. Those struggles continue.
Well, who's going to blink first, Ryan? Unbelievable.
23 lead changes. Washington. Pookie Powell trying to create the Washington. He's up and good. We've got another lead change, making 24.
Well, Chaz Brown stayed up top to help as he should, but you've got to either roll another defender down to help the helper, or he's got to help less time up top and get back down. Tony Washington, too big a target down the block.
Terrence Smith just 4 of 9 from the charity stripe. They won't guard Van Hooven out there. Inside to Williams. He almost turns it over. 10 on the shot clock. Williams from way outside. The freshman.
Does he know he's a freshman? Somebody remind that young man. Boy, he shot that ball with confidence. Look at that. His teammates rushing on the floor. Chest bump on the line. They have been all year long.
Important to keep LaSalle under 70. You could see Duquesne's success. Interesting here, Coach. Take me inside the huddle. Duquesne has consistently been bringing the double to Pookie Powell, and LaSalle has been getting layups.
Well, you still want to make sure that Powell, can beat you. So you, at the point of attack, you want to try to jump him early. But when you jump him, you've got to get help to the basket. What does that mean? Is you rotate guys down, you help the helper, you got guys to paint, then you got to rush out and challenge the three-point line. Let's see how they match up.
Duquesne going with their best athlete, defensive specialist, Kevin Taylor on Powell. Powell trying to go one-on-one and create. Decent. Step back three. He'll go to the line for three. Williams pleading his case that he never touched Dees.
Well, that's a tough one. Ryan, that's just tough this juncture of the game. Again, you don't want to give the officials a reason to call that, so you challenge up. I never like the player putting his hands on the ball, even though that looked like a pretty clean block, because you're giving the officials an opportunity to call that.
The student body here at the Palumbo Center making their presence felt. Dees is 72%. Sophomore misses the first. Next two are critical. Now the difference between a make and a miss here, gigantic for how LaSalle will play it defensively.
Absolutely. If they miss, they've got a foul. They can't let the shot clock go down. If they make it, Duquesne plays for the last shot. So it's a huge free throw line.
No good.
Well, they've got a foul now. They can't play down. They've got to go up there, and they got to pick a guy that can't be real picky. I'm sorry.
Duquesne quickly gets the ball into the fifth-year senior, Rene Castro-Kennedy. 76% free throw shooter.
Well, Ryan, LaSalle's still in good shape. They're only down a point.
He's 2 for 2 today. This is a 1-and-1.
I think they're in great shape. You hope they don't miss one, but there's a lot of time left in this game. There's a number of possessions left, so there's a lot of ways you can play this, but very smart to foul early.
Wholesale substitutions for both coaches. Lewis out, Taylor in, Castro short-armed it. So now it's LaSalle down one with the basketball. Powell all the way to the basket and in. LaSalle by a point. To play. Castro will go back to the free throw line.
Well, you see that Keith Devrod elected not to call a timeout, and I don't know, but he gets to the rim. You don't want LaSalle's defense to get set. He splits two defenders, and the defenders are still moving. They foul with the body. Now he goes up there to giving them two, Ryan.
2 shots, down one. Just short-armed his last. And that was a brick.
Well, you said it, and so what you got to do is you got to step off, go back to the line. But there's Darren Smith just giving him some encouragement, and good substitution by John Giannini trying to put his big back in there in case there's a miss.
Free throw line has been disastrous for Duquesne. Castro's missed consecutive. The last was ugly. That's better. We're tied at 66. 7 seconds to play. Full court pressure. Dees for the win. And we're going to overtime.
Well, the officials didn't listen to me. I said no overtime today, guys. And we're going to overtime. What a great game. And, this is fitting, Ryan. This is fitting that this game goes to overtime. A veteran official smiles at me. They play this game now.
LaSalle's last game blew a 22-point second-half lead, lost in overtime to UMass. It's Duquesne's first overtime game of the year.
And Duquesne loses on the road to VCU after having big double-digit. So these are two tough teams that are very well coached, and I think it's fitting this game's going to overtime. Hold on to your seat.
So 5 more minutes of action. Bonus basketball. James in Washington to jump it up. Keep an eye on Pookie Powell. He has been nearly indefensible. Pookie to the basket and lays it up and in.
Outright for you, Ryan, to say he's indefensible, because they try to step up and there's just no match. Big guy's no match for Pookie Powell. He just goes right by you onto the rim and lays it up. That's a tough play. It's so important. Both teams entering the ball at the high post or low post area, trying to operate their offense from where it's very tough to help cheat defensively.
Powell has been able to get to the rim at will. Smith way outside, in and out. It will be LaSalle basketball up 2. And if you had to side with which team is getting the easier shots, it would be LaSalle. Duquesne, a much more difficult 3. It's Powell again. Mid-range, got it. He just has no answer.
He's on a mission. He's pulling up. I think he's got a real bad cramp. And he wants to call a timeout. He took a foul. That's a tough break for LaSalle. It looks like a cramp. And when you play the kind of minutes that Pookie Powell plays, right, you're going to get cramps. He doesn't get much rest. And it's easy to get dehydrated.
And he's trying to rub it himself. It is a 4-point LaSalle lead. It's all Pookie Powell.
Well, let's hope
he has been the offense in the late going.
No doubt. Let's hope it's a cramp and not a muscle pull, but it seems to be a cramp. Although I'm not the doctor, Dr. John is. One of two doctors, incidentally. Brett Reed, the other in the country, who are coaching. And I know both guys, but he really, yeah.
Powell with 20 points.
Well, he makes this shot, and as soon as he goes up, he just catches a cramp, it seems, right here. I think he just goes up, and he's got a really tough cramp. He's extending. He's going over the top to get that shot off. He's going to have to take a breather here, and that's a tough blow for LaSalle. Tough blow.
Have to head to the bench. They'll try to get him some fluids and find a way. You can see still in a great deal of pain if you've ever had a leg cramp. But the gym is warm. As cold as it is outside, 15 degrees in Pittsburgh, it is warm. And looky here, it is Castro back at the free throw line, and the struggles continue.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, he's still trying to rub that out. But you mentioned Castro Kennedy, and boys, he just been struggling from the line, Ryan. That's just uncharacteristic. He's a 76% free throw shooter, and he's left some points on the table.
Yeah, lead is 3. LaSalle with the basketball, but without Pookie Powell, who has 20 points. Where will the scoring come from?
Well, they're going to have to try to go back to big fella, see if they can get Chaz Brown in foul trouble. I'm sorry, get him out of the game. He's got 4. Isaiah Dees, another guy they can go to. Moultrie.
Moultrie's been the guy, and hits another 3.
That's a huge basket for Jamar Moultrie. They're really been on fire, and that's the biggest lead now they've gotten for, I think, either team. 6 down the stretch. That's big.
Sure. It's been all LaSalle in overtime. They haven't missed. 3 for 3. Smith, and they got a blocking foul on Moultrie. Could have gone either way, but it will be Smith to the free throw line.
Let's watch Jamar Moultrie.
And you think about how clutch he's been. He hit the big corner 3.
And gets the shot, but here's the foul. Still moving a little bit. No offhand by Jaron Smith, which is important. Defender still moving on the play.
Pookie Powell does look better on the baseline. And Duquesne, should they lose this game down 6, they will look to the charity stripe. It has been disastrous here late.
Well, that's been a real thorn here. You know, uncharacteristic again. You can salt games away at the free throw line.
And they've missed 10 free throws. Has Duquesne. Full court pressure. The lead is 5. Still no Pookie Powell.
Well, you're up 5.
A lot of time, though. We've seen this game change on a dime before. Moultrie again feeling it. See if they can find Lewis. He's been quiet. Castro to the basket, lays it up and in. It's a 3-point game.
Well, Ryan, that's what you do when your shots aren't falling. You go to the rim. Hopefully, see if you can convert. But that's a big-time play by Renee Castro Kennedy. Keep his team.
Still no Pookie Powell. Where will the points come from? Moultrie's taking the last 2 threes. Now it's inside to Washington. 5 on the shot clock. Dees wants 3, in and out. Pookie Powell will check back in the game. What would the lead be when he does? Castro. He'll head back to the free throw line with a chance to cut it to 1.
Well, I love it, you know. I love the aggressiveness of Renee Castro Kennedy. He has carried this team at times this year, and he just wills himself to the line. That's what you have to do. It's not your day, but you got to get back there, hopefully get a rhythm going. You know, a lot of players take the easy way out, Ryan. They'll go up and take jump shots when they're not knocking down shots. I've had players that have done that in the past. They avoid contact, but, you know, he's there at the line. And now you see the big substitution. And guess who's back in the game?
Castro 5 of 8 from the charity stripe. This is a big one, would cut it to 1. Has he found the rhythm? The answer is no. In and out. 11th miss from the foul line for Duquesne. Pookie Powell back in and is moving seemingly 100%. Gets a high pick and roll. Smith playing him straight up. Another high pick and roll. Dees definitely moved his feet. No call. Inside Washington, good. 4-point lead. That was a big miss there. He definitely moved the feet.
Well, you've got to block out the backside, and that's a huge offensive rebound by Tony Washington, giving his team a big 4-point lead with under a minute and a half.
High pick and roll for Castro. Oh, he'll head to the line as Jordan Robinson is hacked in the act. Robinson is a 60% free throw shooter, so no bargain there.
Well, Keith Dambrot is upset. He's happy that he sees his big fella at the line, but he's not happy with the failed box out in the back end.
This will be the 32nd and 33rd free throw. That is Duquesne's 12th missed foul shot. We're in overtime. Makes 1 and 2. Simply put, Duquesne makes foul shots today, they win. Instead, they trail by 3, 90 seconds to play.
That's a lesson for our young viewers, Ryan. We've got young guys at home. They got to get in that gym, and they got to shoot free throws. And if you can shoot free throws, you can solve games away. But you don't want to go down the stretch of a game and not be able to knock down free throws.
Powell wants the ball. Real high pick and roll. Smith will try to play him straight. Powell with 10 on the shot clock. Washington to pick. The show, and then the easy layup. There's just no answer for Pookie Powell. He's got 22.
Chaz Brown didn't want to pick up his tip foul. Let him go. And what happens? Powell makes him pay.
And where is Mike Lewis? Instead, it is Rene Castro, and he continues to drive to the basket, but been unable to get up a shot.
Well, let's look at that last basket, Ryan. This is telltale sign. You see Powell waits for the screen, and they slip early. They do a really good job of slipping. That means you set the screen and slip before it's actually set, and then you come here and you get the ball back out, and they had to foul. So tough situation, but that's a really hard thing when you're playing LaSalle. You must guard ball screens, and they give you different looks. They hold the screen, they run out and slip early on the screen, so you've got to stay attached, and you've got to communicate. You've got to talk on the defensive end.
Well, this is going to be a tough one for Duquesne.
Well, if they can't stage a comeback here, and I've seen it happen, there's still time with a couple of three-point plays and some press, but we'll see what happens down the stretch. But they can look back at free throws.
And they've missed 12. Moultrie, one of the best. He front ends the front. Lead remains 6.
Well, Jamar Moultrie is somebody they can foul. He's only 50% on the year, so they may have found something here if they find that he can shoot the three, but he's having trouble from the line.
Makes the second. And tied the largest lead of the game. Rene Castro just continues to shoot his team out of the game.
Well, he's having a tough time today. It's not been his day. He's carried his team so many times this year. And, you know, again, that's why Keith Dambrot's message has always been about defense. If you play defense, you can be in any game you play. If you struggle on the defensive end at all, or offensive end, then you're not going to be in that game. So, lesson learned. And, you know, you said something else, Ryan, that was important. You know, defensively, you look at LaSalle, and they've done a good job. You know, their defense is very underrated. I think they've done a good job today. Part of defense is not just saying, well, I missed shots. The other team, it's a cause and effect. The other team has something to do with you missing shots. And I think that LaSalle Explorers today have dug in defensively and made it tough on the Duquesne Dukes.
He misses both. Let's see if they can't get the ball to Lewis. Team's leading scorer. Smith instead. Nylon.
Well, we talked about this game not being over, and there's 30 seconds with a three-point lead. Nowhere close to being over, Ryan. You can still get back. You've got
both free throws at the other end.
Well, it's tough. Now, you know, what do you do here, Ryan? Do you foul right away, or do you try to get a steal? I think you give yourself 5-6 seconds in the backcourt to try to get a trap and a steal and not foul right away, because it's only a one-possession game. So if you can get the ball back, you've got time.
Pookie Powell once again out of the game, and it's once again the cramp. So they're going to have to, LaSalle will have to do it without Powell. Moultrie, let's see if Duquesne does not try to get him to get the basketball. Instead it's Dees. Trapped inside. Stooks. 20 on the game clock. There's Moultrie. They didn't foul him. They'll have to foul Stooks now with 19 in the game.
Well, they were trying to get the 10-second call as well, and that's why I was wondering why they were waiting so long, but it looks like they were about a second off the 10-second violation.
Stooks is 86%. Giant difference between him and Moultrie.
Now, this team has just been deadly all year from the free throw line.
And he misses the first.
Oh, big free throw again because it makes it a two-possession game if he misses this. If not, it's still only a one-possession game.
19 to play. 86% is Stooks. Makes the second.
Well, you have time for a quick two if you want and a timeout. Just depends how quickly they want to score, but if teams let you get to the rim, sometimes getting to the rim, calling a timeout can pay dividends.
Smith to the basket, no call, lays it up and in. 15 to go. And a quick foul.
Well, that's
and it will be once again Stooks to the free throw line in a 2-point game.
Well, that's the two-pointer we talked about, Ryan. You take little time off the clock. The team's not going to foul you. You know that. So what do? You drive.
Well, you could have gotten an N1.
Yeah, that could have been a foul there, but you get out of the way because you don't want to stop the clock and give teams a chance to set up the press and get a three-point opportunity. So pressure again on LaSalle to show you why they're the #1 free throw shooting team in this conference.
Now, Stooks is 86%, one of the best in the country. You'd have to expect that he's going to be solid here. Lead back to 3. This is the big one.
Not the guy you want to foul, but you don't have much choice at the end. You know, at the end, you've got to foul the nearest guy.
Ice water in his veins makes both.
Again, you can get a quick two and try one more time. You got Chime if you want it. There he goes.
Once again, gliding. He'll head to the free throw line. Washington with the hack.
And again, I think more coaches should go to this style. Ryan, why? Because it's a defense is playing not to foul. They're allowing you to get there. The last thing they're going to do is stop the ball. So you get 2 free throws, stop the clock, get your defense, substitute, do whatever you want, and here you go. You're going to have strategy going on here.
Now, the issue there for Terrence Smith at the free throw line is Duquesne has missed a bunch today. It's the reason this game actually went to overtime. And now Smith, who has shown an ability to get to the basket, he has struggled from the foul line. He is 5 of 11.
Well, that's going to be tough, but you know, you got to put the pass out of your mind and get there, do whatever you can to get these 2 free throws, get a quick foul, and if not, an opportunistic steal. You're going to have about 2 seconds to try to get a steal. If that doesn't go, you got to stop the clock one more time.
So Washington fouled out on that play, but it was a smart play. As Smith had a layup, Washington sends him to the line where he's really struggled today, under 50%. Makes the first.
Well, that's huge. Now, if you can just cut it to 2, you're giving yourself a chance.
This is the big one. Makes them both. Duquesne allowed to set their full court pressure. No Pookie Powell, once again out with the cramp. That's gigantic. Stooks has been the man at the line, 86%. And though instead, turn it over. Castro at the buzzer. We're tied. Time's 91. 2 on the shot clock. Moultrie says he stepped on the line. Will go to double overtime.
What we talked about, they said they'll give themselves one trap and one trap only.
Meteor, just $12.99 for a full rack and 2 sides. Get it here or get it to go.
We are back at the Palumbo Center, prepared for a second overtime. Keynotes, Pookie Powell, leading scorer in the ball game. He is out on the bench currently with a cramp in the leg. We'll see if he does return. Duquesne wins the tip. 5 minutes of overtime.
I don't know about you, I'm sweating in here. I'm not even coaching, I'm sweating or playing. This is a tough game.
Washington is fouled out. Smith has been a key driver, and he'll head back to the foul line.
That has been the recipe for success for the Duquesne Dukes down the stretch of this game. Getting the ball in Terrence Smith's hands and having him attack the basket, trying to draw a foul or help coverage to dish off.
He is 7 of 13, but most importantly, he made his last 2. Pookie Powell will check back into the game. Why is that key? Kane has shown an inability to slow him down as he has gotten to the rim at ease.
Well, I think UMass had an inability as well as he went off for 30 in his last game. Career high for Pookie Powell.
And Terrence Smith continues his struggles at the line. Now 7 for 14. 50% on the button. But he makes the second. Duquesne once again with the lead. They did not have the lead one time in the first overtime. Castro to guard Powell. Stoops drives, and they're going to call Robinson. I thought it'd be a jump ball.
Well,
Coach.
I thought that the body might have been the reason for the call. The hands, the tie-up was good. Let's see if he bodies him. And he does. He bodies him with the lower body. That's probably a good call. I think up top, though, you're right, Ryan. That was all ball. And the officials had, I think, kind of had it from the waist down and called that foul from the body.
Stoops is 86%. He's made 3 in a row. Make it 4. Get the idea he won't miss from the line again.
Well, he seems to keep going there. So if Duquesne has to come down to a foul game, they're going to have to find somebody else because he's just too deadly.
LaSalle has the lead. Nylon from Stoops.
Well, let's see what LaSalle does to counteract Terrence Smith getting to the basket because he's driven at will.
Mike Lewis has been nowhere to be found for Duquesne, their leading scorer. Can't find him anywhere. Until then,
we just need to call him out, Ryan. I love it. You're like a coach over here next to me. You called him out, said he's nowhere to be found, and what does he do? He finds the baskets. That's what good players do. You can keep them down, but they're not out.
29th lead change. Moultrie blocked out of the sky by Smith. I'm not sure Lewis took a shot in the first overtime, Coach.
No, he struggled, and when you're struggling, you have 2 ways you can go. You can hibernate or you can come back in here, but he got to the rim, and that's what he's done for this team. He's been such a valuable player. He comes back and gives his team the big needed basket.
Under 4 to go, Dukes by 1. Powell on the baseline. Powell up and under, and they'll send him to the line.
Well, he was defended really well, but let's look at it again. He splits the defenders. The hedge stays. He gets him up in the air, and then he gets the reach in. You got to stay down. The foul actually wasn't on Big Fella, wasn't on Robinson.
Now, they had him defended perfectly, but Castro reached, as you said. And now Powell, a 77% shooter, but
now the Wiley Jr. finds a way, you know. Now Castro Kennedy fouls out. That's a tough one. Again, attrition becoming a big part of this game.
A 63rd foul shot coming today. Well, Pookie Powell started his career at Memphis from Dr. Phillips in Orlando, Florida, quickly becoming one of the best players in the Atlantic 10. As expected, makes both, but because of that cramp, they sub him out whenever they can defensively.
I like that. I really do. I think it's a two-way thing. There's going to be a lot of short stoppages down the stretch here to go offense for defense, so I think it's a great move by John Giannini.
See if Lewis can't get the basketball for Duquesne. He'll drive baseline, and he'll head to the free throw line. This game has become a foul shooting contest.
Well, both teams are really figuring it out in a hurry that they don't want this just to be a jump shooting game. They want to take it to the rack, draw the foul, and get to the foul line.
So Lewis to the line for 2, 83%. As you would expect, Powell will check directly back into the game. Duquesne struggles at the line continue.
It doesn't matter who's there, does it, Ryan? It's just been a curse. It's that old adage, if you get in a rhythm, you're good, and if you get out of rhythm, you're kind of not. It's contagious.
They've now missed 14 foul shots. But he makes the second. We're tied at 85. Back where we started.
Well, I like the ability for LaSalle to be able to get Pookie Powell back in the game. With all the stoppages in play, they're able to afford this luxury.
And Pookie, once again, out of lane, decides to take it a second time. And he'll get his own rebound. No, stolen away. And Mike James with the board. So now it's Duquesne with the basketball, tied at 85. 3:20 to go. Offensive.
Well, they call that for not having position, and that's something that they emphasize this year coming in, that you have to be set. You can't move as you hand the basketball off. If you take a look at this, you might see some pivoting and moving. You're not allowed to pivot into a defender who's trying to get through the ball with the dribble handoff. No argument from Keith Ambrose on the Duquesne side.
3 minutes to play. See if Powell can't get the basketball. Here he is. Double team comes. Dees drives baseline. And he throws it away.
Well, he wanted his teammate Jamar Moultrie to spot up, but actually Jamar Moultrie was where he should have been. He went exactly to the dead corner, and when you baseline drift, that's what that's called. You float in your vision of your teammate. The only problem is that player stayed in the baseline, didn't rotate back up. And
really, the only two offensive options on the court for Duquesne, 3 Terrence Smith and 1 Mike Lewis. Let's see if they are the ones that get the basketball. Robinson, jump hook.
That's a huge basket. How about the confidence of Jordan Robinson taking the ball on the block in a huge game and knocking down the jump hook.
Important to point out, Tony Washington is fouled out. 6'10", 240 in. Brookins, very slender, under 200 pounds. Timeout, LaSalle.
Good timeout by John Giannini, who wants to make sure he gets Pookie Powell back in the game, and he wants to make sure he gets exactly the shot that he wants. Let's look at the last basket, Ryan.
That was critical.
We've seen two teams play at a high level all afternoon long. They've been battling and battling. Neither team going anywhere. They're staying right in the swing of things competitively.
No surprise, it's Pookie Powell. Duquesne, no answer for him thus far. Brookins. Dees for 3 in the lead. It's short. Still a lot of time left. 2 minutes to play.
I wouldn't get overconfidence if you're Duquesne. They know that LaSalle's answered every button, every call this afternoon.
Robinson draws the double. Lewis for 3. No good. Rebound by Mike James, the fifth-year senior.
Well, I like that. I love the ability to reload on that. Eric James, I think it was, came back, and that's a great second look. At this time, they didn't force one right back up. They're using the shot clock to their advantage.
Taylor remains unguarded inside, and James flies through the air, but he'll head to the foul line. Eric James, the senior from Westerville, Ohio, a 60% foul shooter, went for the jam. Brookins with the foul.
Well, how about the look from Kellen Taylor, putting his head down, beating his man, and just knocking down that bounce pass for a layup.
Oh, my goodness. Eric James nearly airballs that attempt. The pressure we talked about getting to everyone.
That's why I like my players to lay it up. I know the dunk sounds good, looks good, it gets the crowd into it. But, you know, if he just lays it up, he gets the 2 and probably gets the foul.
James, an awkward style, makes 1 of 2. The lead is 3.
Well, again, they don't want to foul. If the ball's going to be in Pookie Powell's hands, they're going to have to maintain ball pressure at the same time containment.
LaSalle led by 6 in the first overtime. Now they trail by 3. Brookins. He doesn't want to shoot. Powell does. Double team. Stooks for 3. We're tied at 88.
Wow. Amar Stooks, a great shot, just a huge pressure-filled shot. He misses that, and now Duquesne's going down to open up the lead.
88. Smith, floater, no good. Stooks should be heading to the free throw line, no call.
They let that one go. Well, again, Duquesne's going to put the ball in their hands, and they're going to get a timeout and discuss exactly what they want one more time.
Unbelievable ball movement, Coach.
Well,
what happened?
Watch it. Duquesne does a great job defensively, and they just get the shot clock all the way down. But look at the ball movement from end line to end line, baseline to baseline. 3 seconds to go on the shot clock. All bottoms.
Tied at 88. Second over.
Well, certainly they're going to try to get it out of Pookie Powell's hands. If the ball goes into Brookins, you may not double team. You may allow him to see if he can beat you. We'll see what the Dukes have in mind defensively.
Stoops has been a great story for LaSalle, as has Pookie Powell, who draws the double. 10 on the shot clock. Powell for 3. Brookins, Dees, Robinson the rebound. Out to James. Tied at 88. 10 seconds to play.
One shot. We think at the last shot.
Smith with 3, 2, no good. James at the buzzer, rejected, and we will head to a third overtime.
Well, why not? We didn't expect it to be any other way.
Tied at 88. We are back, tied at 88. It is a third overtime here at the Palumbo Center. And LaSalle will start with the basketball. Giant game for both teams in the Atlantic 10. Stoops has been gigantic for LaSalle. That continues.
Well, I like the call to go inside, and Mar Stoops on the block. You know, it doesn't have to be your post guy. Get your best, strongest guy in the block and go. And he's a great foul shooter, so they have to play without fouling.
Where will Duquesne turn for offense? High pick and roll with Robinson. Another floater. And once again, Smith can't hit, but James is there for the rebound. Tied at 90.
Oh, James had Terrence Smith had a great look. Great putback.
LaSalle is very small on the court. 4 guards. Smith. Moultrie's made several big threes in this game. This is Dees. 10 on the shot clock. Moultrie, another 3. Brookins battles for the rebound. That will be Duquesne basketball. Well, you talked about posting up one of your smaller players.
I love this call by John Giannini. He gets a post-up player here. Demar Stoops, he gets to the rim, over the top, scores it. You don't want to foul him because he's 85. He's deadly from the line. So a huge good call by John Giannini.
Now it's Duquesne. Lewis and Smith. Smith drives. Flares out to Lewis. He's really struggled. Duquesne's leading scorer from 15. Got it.
That's what he does, Ryan. Doesn't he just go back to the basics? What was hard about that? Use the screen. He's a veteran player, and he took what the defense gave him. Something he hadn't done earlier in the game. He finally went back and took what the defense gave him. Knocks down a mid-range shot.
92-90. Powell draws the double. Pull up. Brick. We got a foul inside. Who's it on? A hold on Duquesne. It will send Brookins to the foul line.
Well, here's the jump shot. And there's a little bit of a tangle up inside. That could have gone either way or a play on. But they definitely got Terrence Smith, who's fouled out. That's another big loss. Boy, this game is just dwindling in terms of quality players, or at least experienced players on the floor.
There's no offense other than Mike Lewis on the court for Duquesne. You look at the players they have out there. Brookins to the free throw line. He's played giant minutes. Misses the first.
Now they've got everybody that they're used to having score the ball off, sitting on that bench in foul trouble. They've got big guys surrounding Mike Lewis.
He misses both. 2 giant misses for Brookins.
Well, that could be fatigue because this young man's had to play the whole game.
Got to believe this is Mike Lewis time for Duquesne if they are to somehow get out with a victory. Lewis draws the triple team. Off the front end, it will be LaSalle basketball.
Well, that's a good look again. I think he faded back a little bit, but he was open. Came off the screen and got a good look.
Buki Powell. Got the mismatch, takes advantage, and he'll head to the foul line with a chance to tie it at 92.
Again, the drive becoming so important for both teams, especially LaSalle now. Buki Powell getting by bigger, larger defenders that can't keep up with him on the perimeter.
That is 26 points now for Buki Powell. He has been the offense in the second half. Where will Duquesne look to score from?
You see what they're doing. They're staying with the help in the hedge a lot longer than normal.
Double teams galore. Robinson on the baseline. His shot blocked by Brookins, and it's Dees that walks away with it. 4-guard offense for LaSalle. You would think Robinson would have an advantage inside. 54 fouls in this game. 72 foul shots.
That's a great outside defense, Ryan. There was going to be another post-up, and a defender from the weak side came over and knocked the ball away.
15 ties, 33 lead changes. Tied at 92.
Well, let's watch the extended ball screen coverage here. They're going to stay out there as much as they can on Lewis. They're going to try to put 2 guys on him, stay with him as long as they can.
And there's no other offense on the court. No one that can shoot the ball but Lewis. And he connects from 3. Lewis.
Hey, Ryan, how about better late than never? This guy has come back in this game.
Buki Powell to the basket, rebounded by Robinson. Stolen by Stooks, out of bounds. It will stay Duquesne basketball. 69 seconds to go. Duquesne by 3 thanks to Mike Lewis. And you had to know he was going to shoot. There was no one else on the court that can't shoot.
And Brookins has to get out there, absolutely has to get out there a lot sooner on that play. You must get out there and hedge. That was a late hedge, no hedge, actually, and that's a freshman mistake because if he gets out there and makes him give it up, the other big guys aren't going to shoot.
Under a minute. Robinson. It will be Lewis. There's no doubt about that. Another 3. Another one! Mike Lewis will not be denied.
Ryan, incredible what he's done down the stretch of this game.
In honor of the great Keith Jackson, oh, Nelly.
Well, I was waiting for you to say that all broadcast long. What an unbelievable.
Duquesne by 6. Better late than never. Somehow, someway, everyone in the building knew who was going to shoot for Duquesne. Knowing and stopping is a different story.
You've got to get down and make him go to the rim. Easier said than done, Ryan. That's just a tremendous individual play by Mike Lewis, who is almost a 40% three-point shooter. He's just struggled today. And 83 from the line.
The St. Louis native. For the 100th point of the game for Duquesne. 24 now for Lewis. 192. Third overtime. Moultrie lays it in, 19 to go. Don't go anywhere. We've seen this before.
No, you know, this game's gone 3 overtimes, and I'd say if it wasn't more than a 2-possession game, hold on. But if he makes this shot, Ryan, it's more than a 2-possession game. Not enough time on the clock. But he's got to make one of these 2.
Duquesne won their last triple overtime affair, beating Notre Dame in 1993. LaSalle beat Mercer just a couple of years ago. Lewis back to the line. 24 for the sophomore. Make it 25. He cannot miss.
Now it's tough. It's a two-possession game, not enough time on the clock. That's a big free throw.
25 for Lewis. Stoops. Powell for three, no good. And late, the basketball just would not fall for LaSalle here in the third overtime. That will do it. An all-timer here at the Palumbo Center. Triple overtime. 101-94. Incredible game. That is a wrap from